Hey everyone, today we're talking about becoming noteworthy, business succession planning. My name is Isaiah Goodman, Chief Financial Advocate at Becoming Financial. I wanted to talk today about business succession planning. If you're a business owner, I know there's some jargon that gets thrown out about business succession and something that we typically just kind of push off into the future. Today I wanted to give you a good scenario and a bad scenario for what it means in terms of business succession planning. So the good scenario would be ideally that your business grows, you've either reached a point to where you no longer want to participate, or you've gotten an amazingly attractive offer and somebody will buy your business. So in a good scenario, your succession planning is to sell your business and step away. In a bad scenario, something happens and you're no longer here to make any decisions. You pass away and people are left to have to figure out what you wanted. That could be good if you made some plans, but again, this is a good scenario where you stay alive, a bad scenario where you pass away. So I'll talk about the bad scenario first. Here's some things that you want to make sure you cover to protect yourself, your family, your business in case you pass away. Number one, you want to make sure you have a will. In that will, the only thing that's going to supersede your will, your last testament, is a beneficiary. So if you have some sort of a document for your retirement accounts, investments, beneficiary comes, that's the only thing that supersedes a will. Next, your will. The probate courts will look at what did this business owner want for their business. If the will says it goes to XYZ family members, that's the first step. Now they still have a lot to figure out, but you need some sort of written document that the state will recognize to pass on this legal entity. If you want to go to the next level, consider a trust. You could even put that into a family trust. So if you pass away, your will says the entirety of the business goes into this trust, then it should be shielded from any sort of estate taxes and it's protected and you're able to pass that down to the next generation, if that's your choice. If you wanted them to put it up for auction and sell the business, of course that's an option, but you need that to be written in your will. And if you placed it into a trust, now you have directions for what the trustee to do with that. The next thing would be life insurance. If you have a key person working there, you want to get key person life insurance. If your top salesperson passes away, well, now you're missing 50% of your sales for the year. You want to make sure that you have life insurance on that person to protect your business. And if you're the business owner, you want to make sure that you have life insurance to cover your portion of the business for your family, especially if there's partners involved. One of the things you want to set up is called a buy-sell agreement. So a buy-sell agreement can be with life insurance, disability insurance, an illness, even if somebody just wants to step out of the business. It basically dictates and says, if I can't work anymore or if I want to step away from the business, here's the percentage ownership that I have, and here's how my partners can buy and sell my pieces. Well, if somebody passes away unexpectedly and you didn't have any buy-sell arrangements, what the heck's going to happen? We need to have those documents in place to say, if I've got a partnership, I want my two partners to buy out the rest of the business from my wife, and I funded that with life insurance. So that's a really cool example of estate planning, business succession planning, in a worst case scenario if you pass away. A couple ideas. In an ideal situation, let's say you live a long, healthy life, you get to the point to where your business is worth a couple $1 million, you want to sell it and retire. One of the first things that I would do is all the stuff I just talked about. Get a will, make sure you get a trust, make sure you get life insurance on yourself and your top key salespeople. Make sure you've got a buy-sell arrangement, because all of that stuff can be transferred to the new owners. So you can have a buy-sell arrangement, you just redraft the documents, you change the name on there. Now that you've stepped out, the new owner or the new partner in the business is in that buy-sell arrangement. So do all the same stuff I just talked about, even in a good scenario. Next, make sure that you're forecasting. Plan out the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years of your business. I know people, they typically will draft up a business plan for the next year or two. You want to forecast the next 10 years. So if there's a potential buyer of your business, they can see if this is a good opportunity for them in the long run. This is how you see smaller companies like this little company called Instagram get bought up like a Facebook. And so Facebook bought Instagram in its infancy, and now obviously Instagram is Instagram. Processes that don't need you. That's going to be a huge step when it comes to being a successful business owner that wants to sell their business. So if I'm involved in every step of the process, well, why would somebody else want to buy that business? Because it's uniquely tied to me. But if I can create a system to where I'm more of a manager, more of a leader, and the certain roles are played out with people that work specifically on those functions and they follow a process, now a prospective business owner would love to buy that business. This is especially what a very rich and famous person named Warren Buffett did. Warren Buffett bought and looked for businesses that didn't need him to do anything or be a specialist. He just wanted a business that was efficiently ran and managed and that he could put some equity into to help it grow. Obviously, it turned out okay for him. Last thing, just read and read and read and learn. A couple books that I suggest. One is called Built to Sell. It's a business book. It's kind of a fable that talks about a business owner that built his business. It was a service business, built it like a product so that he could then sell his business, doing some of these other steps, forecasting, making sure that he had processes that didn't need him. Another great book, it's the EOS or traction system. So if you go and check those books out, it really teaches you about how do you create a business that doesn't need you to be there every day. Now, if you go take a vacation, now you know if any fires happen and nobody called you, they solved the problem. That's a great business that you could sell that somebody else would want. Last book, it's called Clockwork, Run Like Clockwork. I think that's another great business book for you to check out. Again, sets up a system so that your business can run like clockwork without you needing to be there. So in the good and the bad, I'd recommend all of that estate planning with the business twist. Make sure you get your will, trust, healthcare, estate documents, all of that stuff, buy-sell agreements. If you pass away, your business, your family's taken care of. If you live a long time, then people will want to buy your business and allow you to succeed off into the sunset.